What comes to mind when you hear the word Satanism? Is it dark rituals, forbidden knowledge, or secret elites controlling the world? Or is it something much deeper, something misunderstood? For centuries, Satan has been more than just a religious figure. He has been a symbol of fear, rebellion, and even freedom. But who are the people who embrace this symbol today? What do they actually believe? And why is Satanism suddenly at the center of so many cultural and political debates? In this video, we're not here to tell you what to think. Instead, we're diving into the world of Satanism, not as a force of evil, but as a movement, a philosophy, and a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and desires. Whether you're curious, skeptical, or just here for the story, one thing's for sure: this isn't what you expect. Let's begin. In the digital age, accusations of Satanism have become a viral phenomenon. Every few months, a new conspiracy emerges. Some claim global elites are part of a secret satanic cult, while others accuse pop stars and influences of hidden devil worship. But where do these ideas come from? From the Illuminati conspiracy theories of the 2000s to today's viral TikTok debates, Satanism has been weaponized as a label to discredit, control, or create fear. Celebrities like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and even politicians have been accused of being part of a satanic elite. But is there any truth to these claims? Or is this just modern-day witch hunting in digital form? Some of these theories borrow from centuries-old fears. The idea that power must come at a dark price, that success must be linked to something supernatural. But in reality, these accusations often say more about our cultural anxieties than they do about the accused. But where do these accusations come from? Historically, accusing others of Satan worship has been a tool of control. From medieval witch trials to 20th century Satanic Panic, society has always found ways to paint its enemies as evil. Today, conspiracy theories like QAnon and Pizzagate have revived these accusations, mixing politics, religion, and internet culture into a dangerous cocktail of paranoia. But here's the real question: what is Satanism actually about? To understand modern Satanism, we need to go back, way back. For most of history, Satan was the ultimate villain, a tempter, a destroyer. But something changed in the 17th century when John Milton published Paradise Lost. In this epic poem, Satan wasn't just evil. He was charismatic, defiant, and even relatable. "Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven," he declares. This version of Satan became a symbol of rebellion against oppressive authority. Later, the poet William Blake and the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche built on this idea, presenting Satan not as a monster, but as a force of individual freedom and enlightenment. This laid the foundation for modern Satanism, not as devil worship, but as a philosophy of resistance. Fast forward to 1966. A man named Anton LaVey declared the formation of the Church of Satan. But here's the twist: LaVeyan Satanists don't actually believe in Satan as a supernatural being. Instead, they see him as a symbol of individualism, self-indulgence, and rejecting blind faith. In the Satanic Bible, LaVey lays out a philosophy that promotes personal power, free will, and even hedonism. But despite the name, it's not about devil worship. It's about rejecting control by religious institutions. Of course, not everyone agreed with this form of Satanism. Fast forward to today, Satanism is more visible than ever. From edgy TikTok influencers to serious legal battles over religious freedom, the modern satanic movement has sparked debates worldwide. But is it just a provocative act, or does it represent something bigger? a growing resistance against religious overreach and political manipulation. Today, a new form of Satanism has emerged, one that's highly political. The Satanic Temple, founded in 2013, uses Satan as a symbol for secularism, free speech, and human rights activism. They fight against religious influence in government, advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, and challenge laws that privilege Christianity. For them, Satanism isn't about worship, it's about challenging authority. So, with all these different perspectives, where does Satanism actually stand today? Despite these different philosophies, Satanism remains one of the most feared and misunderstood belief systems. Much of this comes from moral panics, waves of fear that spread through society. In the 1980s, America saw the Satanic Panic, where people were falsely accused of ritual abuse, leading to mass hysteria. Hollywood has played its role, too. From The Exorcist to The Conjuring, pop culture has reinforced the idea that Satanism is inherently evil. But how much of this is based on fact? To truly understand Satanism, we need to explore the books that shaped its philosophy. These aren't just books about the devil. They're works that challenged authority, redefined morality, and inspired generations of rebels, free thinkers, and even political activists. Here are 5 of the most influential books on Satanism and how they shaped history. John Milton probably never intended to inspire Satanism, but Paradise Lost did exactly that. This epic poem retells the story of Satan's rebellion against God, but with an unexpected twist. Satan is not just a villain. He's a tragic, charismatic, and even relatable figure. When he declares, "Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven," he embodies the spirit of defiance, free will, and resistance against tyranny. For centuries, radical thinkers have read Milton's Satan not as the embodiment of evil, but as a symbol of personal freedom. Romantic poets like William Blake and Percy Shelley even suggested that Satan, not God, was the true hero of the story. This book laid the intellectual foundation for the idea of Satan as a liberator, an idea that later became central to modern Satanism. If one book defines modern Satanism, it's the Satanic Bible. Written by Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, this book doesn't promote devil worship. It promotes a philosophy of individualism, self-indulgence, and personal power. LaVeyan's Satanism rejects traditional religious morality. Instead of self-sacrifice, it preaches self-preservation. Instead of guilt and obedience, it emphasizes pleasure, strength, and control. Instead of worshiping an external God, it teaches that you should be your own God. LaVeyan's philosophy shocked religious groups and fascinated rebellious youth. It turned Satanism from an accusation into a movement. But not everyone agreed with LaVeyan's version of Satanism. While the Satanic Bible laid out a philosophy, LaVeyan's next book, The Satanic Rituals, focused on something more controversial: rituals and ceremonies. LaVeyan understood the power of pageantry. He designed rituals that mocked Christian traditions, not as acts of worship, but as acts of defiance. Some ceremonies were purely theatrical, meant to shock and provoke. Others were psychological tools, designed to help people embrace their own desires and power. This book fueled the idea that Satanism was an organized movement, leading to panic among religious groups. It played a huge role in the 1980s Satanic Panic, where people were falsely accused of ritual abuse and devil worship. But LaVeyan Satanism was just one path. Long before LaVeyan, a French writer named Anatole France wrote a novel that reimagined the war in heaven. In The Revolt of the Angels, the fallen angels aren't demons. They are revolutionaries fighting against an unjust and tyrannical God. Instead of being a force of chaos, they symbolize knowledge, enlightenment, and rebellion against oppressive rule. this book resonated with atheists, anarchists, and anti-authoritarians. It portrayed Satan as an intellectual, standing up against blind faith and divine dictatorship. It helped shape the idea of Satan as a political and philosophical figure, rather than a religious one. This novel was a precursor to Satanic philosophy as a form of resistance, which would later influence both LaVeyan Satanism and the activism of the Satanic Temple. Most people assume Satanism is either a recent invention or a relic of medieval superstition, but historian Ruben van Looyk's Children of Lucifer uncovers the long and complex history of Satanic thought. It explores how Satan evolved from a biblical figure into a countercultural icon. It examines how philosophy, literature, and politics shaped modern satanic movements. And it reveals how Satanism has been used both as a tool of rebellion and as a scapegoat for society's fears. This book is crucial for anyone who wants to understand the deeper historical and cultural forces behind Satanism today. These books reveal a hidden truth. Satanism is not just one thing. For some, it's a philosophy of personal power and indulgence, the Satanic Bible. For others, it's a symbol of rebellion and resistance, Paradise Lost, the revolt of the angels. And for some, it's a political movement fighting for secularism and freedom, Children of Lucifer. So, is Satanism truly about evil? Or is it about challenging power? Maybe that's why Satan remains such a powerful symbol, because he forces us to confront what we fear most: the unknown, the forbidden, and the freedom to choose our own path.